Hello there. Welcome to another edition of the Night Sky This Week. I'm your host, Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. Thanks so much for joining me once again. I'm here usually every week. You may have noticed last week I was not on air. Tell ya, technical issues because I just upgraded my computer system, and last week I just was not able to go live because a lot of the software that I used to do streaming was just not working, and I apologize for that. So glad that you can join me. I've got things starting to run like crazy. A lot of different things happening this week in the sky. So I just wanted to jump right in. I got the chat room open. I've got comments coming in. Love seeing where you guys are all over the world. So nice to see you. I know I'm a little late today as well, but finally I'm back up, and I think we'll be good to go for hopefully for a very long time. And before I dive into the Planetarium program, I wanted to show you what popped onto my screen this past few days is all about sunspot and solar activity. And this is my favorite site, of course, is spaceweather.com. If you can see that over here. This is really neat because they're talking about solar flares, basically a lot of solar activity coming from this sunspot. And let me just enlarge it here, and you can see that image. I'm going to move it over a little bit this way so you can see it. It's really neat because there's this sunspot right here. If you can see it right there, I'll zoom in on it. This is a huge series of sunspots, actually, and it's produced on Monday, March 14th, the day of this broadcast. There was a solar flare coming from there, even caused minor radio blackouts on Earth. And we think that maybe there might be some auroral activity associated with it. Not much, potentially, according to what I'm reading on spaceweather.com. There's an Earth-directed solar flare that happened from this sunspot called AR 2965. It's that group right here above my head here that you can see. It's this, by the way, spaceweather.com, great website for this kind of information, specifically about auroras and northern lights. This weekend, there was an impact of northern lights. You can see here some of that pictures that were taken. This one in Iceland, just fantastic stuff. Highly recommend it. Is there going to be more activity? Probably from this particular sunspot group, which is basically facing us right now. So if you have a solar filter, you can see, if you have solar eclipse glasses, you could maybe even spot this group of sunspots. through just even glasses. I haven't tried that yet. That's something I'm going to try this afternoon. It's sunny where I am here in Montreal, Canada, and it'd be interesting to see if this group of sunspots is visible. Definitely through a telescope that's equipped with a solar filter, you can see this safely. It's really interesting. So something that may develop into other more interesting things for us when it comes to auroras and other neat kind of activities that the sun produces and influences our our space weather around our planet. So what do I've got here? I've got here our beautiful Planetarium program. I'm just going to get it all lined up for you. Let me see if I can get this zoomed in so that you can see it nicely. There you go. So what we're looking at here is the moon positioned Monday night. This is March 14th, and we're heading towards a full moon this week, folks. So by officially on Thursday morning, early morning, or late Wednesday night, depending on where you are, but Thursday is when we'll have this full moon. It's called the worm moon because this time of the year, earthworms are coming out of the ground, appearing in the soil as it thaws after a long winter in the northern hemisphere. So this is a kind of a northern hemispheric centric name, the worm moon, and that's where it comes from. The March full moons that's the most common, well-known name out there for the March moon. But where is it on Monday as we head towards the moon? It's a waxing gibbous moon. It is just in front of the face of Leo the lion. You can see right there where the moon is. It's a waxing gibbous moon, and very close to it is a bright white colored star. And that star is in fact just a gorgeous it's kind of like a bluish white diamond. I love it. It's about 77 light years away, 77.8 light years to be exact, Regulus. It marks the heart of the Leo the lion constellation. And by the way, this constellation is rising in the east soon after darkness falls. And this really is a representative constellation of the spring time constellations. Really, it's one of the landmark constellations of the upcoming spring season, which we'll be heading into in the northern hemisphere. Those of you in the southern hemisphere, of course, you're heading towards the fall season. And again, this is very representative of these seasons, the spring in the north, fall in the southern hemisphere. And it's a great constellation because it's kind of a window out to a lot of very interesting things called extragalactic deep sky targets. So if I just, let's see, can show you wide field some of these objects. What am I talking about? Galaxies. You see that? All of these are well-known galaxies. They've got names like the Whale Galaxy, Sunflower Galaxy, Whirlpool Galaxy. Some of them are just named with an M designation, like this is M66. M stands for the Messier catalog, and if you've been around with me for a while, you know that this is pretty much the bucket list for amateur backyard telescope users, binocular users particularly. Even some of these objects are visible to the naked eye, but there are the top deep sky objects beyond our solar system that are great for viewing with backyard telescopes and binoculars. And it's kind of the go-to list of 110. There's 110 objects in the Messier catalog, and many of them are the galaxies, in fact, are located in this part of the sky. Reason why they're clustered here is because it's kind of a window out of our galaxy. Usually we are seeing a lot of things that are much closer to us in our own galactic neighborhood. In the Milky Way galaxy, as many of the objects that we can see from our backyard, from our porch, when it comes to objects like star clusters, nebula, which are gas clouds, different types of those. And then we have galaxies. Galaxies are beyond the Milky Way. We live in a galaxy. It's called the Milky Way. It's a spiral galaxy, and we get to see other ones. It's kind of a window out to other galaxies in the universe this time of the year. And it's really just between where Leo is and then Virgo, the maiden. You can see Virgo is just rising here about 8 o'clock at night. If I go to 9 o'clock at night, you can see her better there. And there's Spica. You see that blue star right there, low down to the horizon? This is around 9 o'clock local time here in 45 degree latitude, 45 degrees north of the equator. That's where Montreal is. That's where I am. And this is where I've got this planetarium program set up. But no matter where you are in the world, these stars in relation to each other and objects relation to each other will be there. So you should be able to see them regardless. Just their orientations are going to be different. How they're positioned in the sky relative to each other will be the same. So where's the moon? The moon is going to be way out there. Let me just get some of this deep sky stuff back a little bit, because there's just a lot out there. But look at that. One of the ones that I want you to take a look at, if you got dark skies tonight, it's already dark perhaps where you are, or you're planning it's going to get dark in a few hours. Try tonight, Monday night, using the moon. The moon is in front of, you see, there's Leo, there's his head, the mane of the lion, and everything is all marked by this backwards giant question mark you can see. But the moon is actually in the constellation Cancer the Crab. It's kind of pinched between the two claws of the crab. That's how the moon is tonight on Monday, March 14th. And what's really neat is just next to the moon is a beautiful star cluster called the Beehive cluster. And the moon goes by it regularly almost every month. If you can catch it at the right time and it's clear skies, this is a great opportunity to spot the Beehive cluster. Now, of course, you've got the bright glare of the moon, and I know those of you that are more seasoned stargazers know that the moon kind of washes out the view. That's true. But if you're a beginner and you're not sure where to look for star clusters, the moon is a great guidepost. And tonight, March 14th, the Beehive cluster is right there next to the moon. The Beehive is 610 light years away from us. Imagine that. It takes 6 centuries for the light to reach your eye. And this is what it looks like through a telescope. It's a beautiful collection of dozens of blue, white, and yellowish colored stars all huddled together. And they were born together. They're over 100 million years old. And here they are beautifully pictured for you. And this is something that'll greet you next to the moon. So if you have binoculars or you have a telescope, this is a great opportunity to see the Beehive cluster. And by the way, the Beehive was seen way back by ancient Greeks. There was an ancient Greek poet called Aratos who mentioned this object, and he called it the Little Mist, and it was mentioned in the year 260 BC. In 260 BC, imagine that, over 2,000 centuries ago, it was seen. And they didn't have binoculars or telescopes. They just had the naked eye, and they had really beautiful dark skies, no light pollution, of course. And he was able to spot this little star cluster, which, by the way, shines at about magnitude 3. So it is visible to the naked eye. Even if you have very, very small little bit of light pollution, you should be able to spot it as a little smudge. But of course, with the moon next to it tonight, you'll need binoculars and telescopes. So that's where the moon is tonight. But it will be jumping around in our skies to, kind of moving to different parts. And I'm going to just jump to Tuesday, March 15th. And look at that. The moon will be right next to Regulus. Again, this is happening in the southeast southern part of the sky late at night. Now I have it this is the view around 11 o'clock at night. You'll see the moon right next to Regulus, that beautiful 77 light year star. The pairing will be very obvious, easy to see. So you'll know on Tuesday, the moon is right inside the chest of Leo the lion. That's what we've got here. And then if we move on to Wednesday, now the moon is kind of in the back part of the lion by its back feet. And another little part of the constellation that's easy to see is the back end of Leo the lion and its tail, marked by this star called the nebula. again, visible to the naked eye. You should be able to see the nebula. The nebula is a star that is 36 light years away, and its magnitude 2. So it's quite visible even if you live in a suburban, light-polluted area. You can see the nebula, and it'll make sort of a triangular formation with these two other stars in the back part of Leo the Lion. So that's the tail and back end of Leo the Lion, made by 3 stars, all 3 visible to the naked eye, with the brightest one called the nebula. So just look for that. This is, again, going to be on Wednesday night. Now, if we continue our journey, by Thursday, when we get the full moon, the moon will be in Virgo, the Maiden constellation. Again, a very, very big landmark constellation for the upcoming spring skies in the north or fall, autumn in the southern hemisphere. And it is approaching this blue, beautiful main blue, the brightest blue star that you'll see in that part of the sky. It's the main star of the constellation Virgo. And by Friday, this is where the moon is. By Saturday, the moon will pair up with Spica. Just a beautiful pairing. And if you look closely, if you draw an imaginary line with blue Spica and the moon, look where it goes to the next brightest star is Arcturus. Now, Arcturus is a beautiful orange-colored star, and it has quite a contrast with Spica. Spica being this distinctive bluish color, and Arcturus having a very distinct orangey-yellow color. And Arcturus is about 37 light years away. It's the lead star in the constellation Bootes. Right there, you can see Bootes is the main star. It's a very typical star in the northern skies in the springtime. For those of us in the northern hemisphere, it's a really brilliant, easy to see star. And the moon and Spica are kind of going to lead you right to Arcturus, creating this beautiful trio. And this is going to be on Saturday skies. So, and you can see, look at all these. You see all these little ovals everywhere. Just before I go and finish for today, I just want you to see all these little marks everywhere. All of these ovals are other galaxies in the universe. They are all on average about 60 to 100 light years. 60 to 100 million light years away. Imagine that. It takes millions of years for the light to reach our eye from all of these clusterings of galaxies in this part of the sky. So this is why looking towards Leo and Virgo in the springtime for us in the Northern Hemisphere is a wonderful time to hunt for galaxies. And I'll talk more about this in next week's and the week after editions, because with the moon that'll be out of the way, out of our skies, past the full moon that we have this week, it'll be great galaxy hunting season. And I want to pick and choose a few for you guys so you can see it. But I wanted you to rest assured, know that we'll be talking about it, but know where in the sky to look for these things. We'll be talking about Virgo and Leo much, much more in terms of deep sky galaxy hunting in the upcoming episodes. So with that, thank you so much for joining me again for this broadcast today. I'm excited because I've got some new technology that I can share with you, bring you better quality shows for you. And if you like these videos every Monday, please do consider subscribing to my channel, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch. I'd love to see you be part of my stargazing friends from around the world. Thanks so much again, and I wish all of you guys, of course, clear skies. Bye-bye.